Okay, we're getting close to being done. We're going to put a border around this whole thing. I want you to click on the layer Island Paradise, and you're going to make a new layer, which is down here on the bottom, and with the little plus sign, makes a new layer. Okay, it's transparent. It's over top of everything. Now, because we're putting the border on, we want it to be over top of everything, so that's why we put it on the top layer. I want you to select all, which is Command A or Control A in order to select all, or you can even just go select all. Now we're going to modify it by saying select, modify, border. Okay, so there it is. Please make the width 10 pixels and say OK. Good. Now we're going to fill this with white. So go on over here and click on the foreground layer and you click on white. I mean, you can pick whatever color you want, quite honestly, but we're going to pick white at the moment and I'm going to say, okay, good. Now, there are two ways to fill this part. You notice it's selected all the way around. You can go edit and fill, and that will do it quite nicely, but I got to admit that a lot of the times I want to fill a selection that I have. And so the shortcut is Option or Alt Delete. That fills the selected area with the foreground color. See how it's done that? Now, another little trick, Command Delete for a Mac, that fills it with the background color. See that? Okay? So I would guess for Windows it's Control Delete, and it fills it with the background color. Another great little shortcut. So let's fill it with white again. So Option Delete, boom, fills it with white. Great. Now Command D to deselect or select and deselect. You'll notice it's not highlighted because nothing's selected. Last little thing. Okay, so the tutorial wants you to flatten everything. And I would say, no, don't do that. Okay? So the reason why they might want you to flatten it is if you wanted to save on disk space or something like that. But I never flatten any of my projects. I want to be able to go in there and change things if I need to. If later on I look at, well, Paradise, I'm looking at this right here, and I can see that Paradise doesn't really pop the way that I would like it to. And, or maybe even just if you figure it out, like when you print it off, and you say, oh, I got to tweak those colors a bit. If you flattened the image, then all of your layers all become one layer, and you're not able to go in and make your changes. So if you do need to flatten it, it's pretty darn easy. You just go over here on the side and click and select Flatten Image. Another thing that you can do though is just save it as a JPEG. That's what most people do when they want to flatten everything. And then that way you've got two different files. You've got the PSD file, which we're working on right here, Photoshop document. That's what PSD stands for. And let me just go Command S to save what I've got. And if I want to save it as a JPEG, I go File, Save As, and change the format to JPEG. And when I do that and I hit save, it says, okay, well, what kind of quality do you want? Because maybe you might be sending this through email or putting it on a website so that you want it to download fast. Excuse me. So at the moment, I want it to be the best quality. I'm just going to say, okay. And now it's saved it as a JPEG. And that's flattened. That's automatically flattened. And there is a big difference in size, I'll tell you. Let me show you. So right now, what we have is we have this file is 20.6 megabytes. But here's the JPEG, and it is 868 kilobytes, so 0.868. Much, much smaller. And that's it for lesson 4. Good job. That was a lot of work. But we made something really good. So I want you to make sure that you submit this assignment. So save it as a PSD, don't flatten it, just like I said, and make sure that you submit it on Google Classroom. If you're not too sure how to do that, I have a little tutorial how to submit an assignment in Google Classroom on the Google Classroom. You can follow these 4 easy steps. Make sure that you click Turn in step 4, and if you need to do it in another way, then like if you need to redo it or something like that, then you say unsubmit and turn it in again. Have a good day. See you.